Hello and welcome to our anchorage just outside Cartagena. We are supposed to be sailing, but...
Yes, we're not really anchored anymore. I pulled it up, but there is no wind, so we're just going to bob around for a little bit, I think.
I know, 0 on the gauge. I've never seen that before. Anyway, we had a good sail down from Gibraltar across to Cartagena where we are now, and we had a visitor.
Yes, Millie, youngest daughter, came out, so that was really nice. A bit of sunshine. It normally rains when she comes, but Costa del Sol lived up to its name and we got some sunshine.
I hope you like the film. Coming up, a freak gust of wind and we almost lose the dinghy. Getting a rope wrapped around the prop. Ouch. Mooring next to the coolest boat in the Med and meeting the coolest couple. We are moored in Gibraltar, this close to the airport, when our youngest daughter Millie flies in to spend a few days with us. The runway is right under the rock and it's very narrow. Summer plane has just taken off this morning. What was it like for you coming in?
Not very nice. It feels like you're about to land in the sea. There were loads of children sat behind me screaming, "Are we going to land in the ocean?"
Could you see the water below you then?
Yeah, either side of the windows. Sea. That's all you could see until you were on the tarmac looking out.
Amazing. As we sailed out, the clouds were gathering over the rock. It looked a good place to put the sails up, but then a minor drama. A gust just whipped across us and upturned the dinghy. Time for man overboard drill to rescue the oars. That meant putting the sails away and turning the boat around. We could see them, but it was quite difficult to get to them in the wind. Just to mention, these pictures were taken by Millie on her iPhone. That's my girl. One retrieved and now we're going for the second. Excellent. We'll have to turn the dinghy the right way round later. This is quite incredible. It's just the wind has just massively come up. It's like in massive gusts. You think, oh my goodness, I'm in the middle of an ocean and a howling gale. And actually then 2 minutes later, flat, nothing. The calm gave us a chance to flip the dinghy back the right way round. And then we hit the currents.
Good. It's katabatic winds.
We had wind, but for the next hour we weren't going anywhere. Eventually we got far enough out to sea to make headway down the coast.
We can bail away actually.
Yeah, we were on 19.
About there.
Yeah, we were on 19 before.
Yeah.
Woo!
What do you reckon, Mills?
It's been a bit wobbly.
It's a bit wobbly.
Yep, it's still a bit bumpy, she's not wrong. Not bad though, nearly 7 knots. Couple of reefs in, and we're headed for Duquesa, which is where we want to go. So, miracles. We're going in the right direction at last. It was quite a stressful morning. One of the many unexpected delights caused by the cloud over the rock. It looks a bit like a UFO. We decided against anchoring out and spent the night in Duquesa Marina. One of the things about marinas is you usually moor next to other boats. What first struck us about Lady Gollum is that she's turquoise. And then we met the owner, Teresa, and we began to suspect a theme. Teresa is an international lawyer, her husband Targ, a compliance financier.
I think Targ, very similar to me, kind of realised quite early on in the careers that we had that we've kind of achieved what we wanted, and we felt that if we stayed longer, being in our... Targ was like 30 around the time, I was late 20s or mid 20s. If we stayed any longer, we'd get trapped in the race and we'd get the mortgage and we'd get everything. And so we were kind of looking to leave anyway. So it wasn't such a big leap for us.
So how will you make money?
So we've got some money saved up and in the bank. So we I mean, that's the point. We were at a stage in our lives where we realised we were very lucky to kind of have the freedom to decide what we would want to do, but knew that we wanted to do something completely different.
And this is completely different. They bought Lady Gollum in an auction, and she's impressive.
We don't often moor next to something that's out trumps us in pretty much every regard for that. I mean, this boat is pretty awesome as a seagoing boat, isn't she?
That's why we fell in love with her. Yeah.
The thing that will worry me, as much as I'd like to have hydraulics for furling and for halyards and the rest of it, is that the feel that you get for that. I mean, sometimes when you're winding something in, something's wrong because something's snagged.
Yeah.
If you keep going, you're going to break something. Is that an issue?
We haven't had it so much. I mean, you notice that something's not going. I mean, you notice either from the shape of the sail or makes a noise, and maybe that's putting a bit more force on it.
But there's no clutch type system, is there?
No.
If something's going to snag, it's going to keep going until either something breaks.
It will. I mean, the hydraulics for these are powered from a power pack, which is in the engine room. It has a little electric motor with a pump on it, which isn't really intensely powerful. So it will get these moving, but it will get strained. So I think there's a point where it would just stop going. It will make a noise. It will tell you that something's up. So it doesn't have this sort of limitless power to break something. It's not going to sort of snap a rope or anything. I think it's definitely something else to learn. It's like when you go from a monohull to a catamaran, and you lose this whole sense of heel, and when you're overpowered.
The sails are putting on something, how much power you're putting in. Yeah.
We got her sorted, and there's our giant rockner.
Yes, I hadn't noticed quite how big. What did you say this one was?
55 kilo.
55 kilo. Yeah, that's a monster, isn't it? I think you'll probably be okay with that, even in a big wind shift. I don't think that's going anywhere, is it?
She holds.
Let's move back then. Granny bars, I think. Yeah, must have.
Coming very handy.
Yeah. Good set of winches, so you can get most things on there, and again, it's all your hydraulics in there. So it's all looking good. And you said you changed all your standing rigging.
We did.
Can I ask you how much that cost? We've got to do the same thing. What did you pay for your standing rigging?
Teresa, was it 25,000 for our re-rig job?
Yeah.
So, but that included.
Don't panic, darling.
I did panic a bit, but boats do cost money. The good thing is that when everything is finished, Lady Gollum can sail anywhere.
The dream destination for the sailing is the South Pacific.
Yes.
And that's so much of it. The Marquesas, the Tuamotus.
I mean, we have a boat that's much too big for us, for any two reasonable people to take on, but she will take us to places, and so we need to take advantage of that and not just potter about in the Med. We need to go to some very remote places where we would otherwise not be able to get to. So that's really the exciting part for us.
So take me through the choice of boat then.
There was not.
There was. We had a list of things that we would like in a boat, and included a number of things. We wanted a metal boat. We were quite keen on either steel or aluminium, which obviously have pros and cons with either one.
Yeah. And that's just purely safety. Was it hitting things at sea, that sort of issue?
Yeah, I think that's it. It's the robustness of it. The idea of hitting a shipping container always kind of it sort of hits in the mind, and with a solid metal boat, that might give you a dent and a scratch. But
Yeah.
and I'm sure a lot of it's actually psychological. I
Yeah.
mean, but we were quite keen on that, and I'm quite a fan of more classic boats, and long keel was quite high on the priority just for crossing oceans, something that's going to keep pointing in a straight line.
There were a few things like with the name, there were a few signs that we were just felt like this boat is meant to absolutely be our boat.
Yes. She wasn't the right
and
colour at that stage.
No, she was white, but you can change those things.
Let her tell the story.
I just wanted to know whether the boat matches you or you match the boat.
Oh, the boat matches me. I came first.
Lovely.
Oh yeah, let's get rid of those ropes.
The next day we faced a bit of a swell leaving the marina, but we had good wind for sailing.
I just tighten the halliards a little bit because I loosen them off overnight. I normally do. Very close to the wind, so.
We love our high-cut Yankee, but it does make it difficult to reach the leech tape. Good thing Steve's supple. A quick sailing lesson for Millie and we're off. Much of the coastline is beautiful, but then there's this, a lot of plastic. These polytunnels house most of Europe's tomatoes. Time to tack, and I'm not looking for sympathy, but sometimes it would be nice just to press a button.
Right, turn it starboard now. Keep going. Right now, Millie, come on now. Hold on.
Work done, time to enjoy the view.
So Millie, which do you prefer, sailing or motoring?
Reading.
Reading. Okay.
I don't mind either, so long as I can sit in the sun and read.
Or sunbathe. When we bought the boat in Amsterdam, I sent the girls this picture to show there was space to lie in the sun. Turns out there's plenty. One thing I've always said I'd do is dive off the boat.
Get up.
But it's not that easy.
Dive.
It is warm.
I did it.
So here it
it is, a nice gentle anchorage on the Costa del Sol. Who'd have thought? Look at that. There had been a strange squeak overnight, and Steve tracked it down to our gimbaled radar. Luckily, all it needed was a drop of oil. Our next destination was Almerimar because Millie was flying out the next day. The sail was largely uneventful, but on the way into the marina we hit a snag. As we were tying the rope around the back of the boat, as you do when mooring in the Med, at the worst possible moment I slipped and knocked the boat into gear. And you guessed it, part of the rope got tangled up in our prop. We went to bed that night pretty depressed. We considered hiring a professional diver, but in the end Steve thought he'd take a look first with a snorkel. The rope was quite tightly wrapped around and it took more than an hour to cut it away. We had a rope cutter, but that had just broken off. Then, eventually, success. Now it's just a matter of attaching the two bits together, yeah?
Yeah, it's 3 bits really, because you've got the sign line that comes down, and then on this bridle to 2 extra bits. It's been a bit of a mess because it's obviously been cut before, and there's a big ball of rope on the end of here, which is part of what got pulled down. But yeah, not great, and not really long enough for our boat, so which is why it's right up against the stern and got caught on the prop. It's just all too tightly around it. So yeah,
So a good advert for finger berths then?
Yeah, Mediterranean berths aren't the greatest, are they?
All fixed now. Millie made her plane, and Steve took a tour of the marina.
Driving back into Almerimar Marina is more like approaching a posh Florida resort. The approach road's quite impressive, even more so when you expand out the map that I showed you earlier and show what we're surrounded by. Literally miles and miles of plastic. I first sailed into this marina with my father about 35 years ago while it was still under construction. I remember thinking it's going to be quite impressive, but there are some flaws. This is the walk from the marina office back to our boat. Because of the strange design of this marina, this walk takes about 20 minutes, and we're only about halfway around. A lot of areas are looking run down, and the marina was about half empty when we were there, with a lot of the businesses shut down. Strange then that this marina is about 3 times the price of the marinas in Gibraltar, which are much better equipped. Yes, there are security gates, but you can just step around them. I give this marina 2 out of 10.
So we're about to leave. I just want to show you the setup here for the Med moorings. It can be a pain for all sorts of reasons. We've got the 2 bow lines in here. We've come in bow first because we can step off the bowsprit that way, and these boats are really difficult to reverse, so frankly it's just easier for me to do that way. But at the moment we've got a real onshore breeze coming up, and the moment I drop the stern lines here, the slime lines, we're going to move forward obviously straight into the dockside, and I can't be putting the prop on for obvious reasons until we've got these lines out the way. If you can see, you've got 2 here on a bridle, and it's not long enough, so it's sort of stretched around the back of the boat there, around the back of the rudder. So that's going to have to drop off and not catch before I can start engaging reverse and get through. So I need something to hold me off. So I'm trying this. I've basically just got a line on next doors on a slip line. Hopefully that'll be enough to hold us while we drop the 2 stern lines and get ourselves off. Still got space at the front there. Okay, if you come back and slip this line. There we go. Pull that. Still got to get out.
Okay, that's fine. You're right behind.
for once. This is going to be our anchorage for the night. Quite a few boats in there already. Not too worried about that because at least it means it's a good anchorage. Julie's on the helm, it's the way we normally do it. I have markers on the chain, so I've got all the meterages on there in different colours. Okay, yep, so we'll go for it. Okay, a bit of backwards then.
It was a good trip. It was fun, it was eventful, sunny, hot, but there are problems.
Yep, it's the way of boating. There's always something. I'm very disappointed with the rope cutters. If you look at the boat lift video that we did about a month ago, you'll see the ones that we had, the spurs that were on there. They just fell apart, didn't cut anything. It was only a small rope, didn't deal with it. So I've done my research and we're going to be fitting ones called gaiters, which I'm told are the best ones in the world.
And we will be getting to Cartagena, so the next video will be in Cartagena, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yep, it's going to be great. So if you've liked this, please subscribe, ring the bell, like, give us your comments.
We like your comments. Thanks.